our ears to a few enlightening expert talks. We are truly delighted to have a young guest of honor with us today.
Hebel Anwar is a young student from Kerala with growing passion for physics and technology. Driven by curiosity and innovation, let us invite Hebel Anwar to the stage to share his thoughts with us.
Hello.
Audience, please give a huge round of applause.
No, like there is someone has to give a speech.
Good afternoon. I think it's good afternoon, I don't know. But I think I have a few certain topics I want to discuss today, but mainly we're going to discuss the history of scientific feuds. I'm going to explain or talk about some of the most historical and intellectual battles in science. So, what is a scientific battle? Well, when we think of scientific battles, who do we remember? We remember the most esteemed scientific battle or engineering battle. It was between Edison and Tesla. What was the dispute about? The dispute was mainly about AC current and DC current. Not going to get into the science of these inventions, but mainly Edison was a kind of a bad businessman, but he was a genius as well. So Edison did something to prove Tesla's AC current was dangerous, even though it was misleading. The number one tactic Edison used was to scare away buyers from buying AC current. And one of the methods he used for this was to scare people from buying AC current, making it look dangerous. He electrocuted an elephant or elephants to prove that AC current was dangerous. Then he made Tesla's AC current look incompetent, even though it was far more efficient and advanced than Edison's DC. So that's one of the scientific disputes we remember. But I'm going to talk about a big dispute in physics. How many of you know Albert Einstein? Many of you know Albert Einstein, all of you know Albert Einstein, but even better, if you know this person, you are a true genius. His name is Niels Bohr. And if you know this other person, you are an even true genius. His name is Werner Heisenberg. Werner Heisenberg is one of the pioneers of quantum mechanics. And Niels Bohr is also the pioneer of quantum mechanics, one of the main people of modern particle physics. How many of you know the model of the atomic nucleus? Well, Bohr was the first person to quantize the planetary or orbit between the atom and the particles. Bohr quantized orbits in 1913. And Albert Einstein, what did Albert Einstein do? Albert Einstein's main theory was called special relativity, and one of his other theories was called photoelectric effect. And in 1905, he did both of these papers. And later in 1915 and 16, he also discovered the general theory of relativity, which is also another important theory of mankind. So these important two theories were made up, quantum mechanics and general relativity. But the most important dispute took place in 1935 between Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein. So there is a certain paper called the EPR paradox. The EPR paradox is mainly discussing two things: that quantum mechanics is incomplete, at least to some extent, and there is a new solution for it. This was Albert Einstein's proposal. But Niels Bohr did not believe in this, and Heisenberg did not believe in this. Why was there a dispute in the first place? If you ask that, there is an important thing: unpredictability. In quantum mechanics, if two particles, imagine you throw one particle to a box, how do you know which side it's going to end up? on the right side or the left side? Well, you aren't going to know, because in quantum mechanics there is a certain principle called the uncertainty principle. You can only know either the position or the momentum of the particle. That is the fundamental nature of quantum mechanics, or a fundamental principle. This violated classical views of Einstein. Einstein did not like this, because Einstein was a classical physicist for his time. So he was obviously mad about this one thing. And another thing he was mad about was locality. You see, in general relativity or special relativity, there is this important principle called locality. Basically, if the sun suddenly disappeared, how much time would it take for us to know the gravitational effects of the disappearance of the sun? Approximately 8 minutes, or about 8 minutes. So this is locality. What quantum mechanics violated was locality, or we thought quantum mechanics violated locality. The solution was certainly classical realism or locality. Basically, in the 1960s, this theorist or experimentalist called John Bell did this experiment for this certain topic. And he realized that in quantum mechanics, it does violate locality. But we are able to choose which it violates, classical realism or locality. And we could choose which one we violate. This is certainly vague, but in quantum mechanics, if you talk about the philosophical side of quantum mechanics, you always have to be vague or you don't talk about it. That's why you see experiments and mathematics succeeding in quantum mechanics the most, because quantum mechanics is really fundamental to physics. But we have been struggling to explain what quantum mechanics is for centuries now. So this important dispute in physics was between Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, and Albert Einstein. For the further course of history, most people believed that Niels Bohr had won this important dispute, but it was certainly a draw instead of either side winning, because this battle had no winners. So this dispute took place through the golden age of physics. The golden age of physics is happening through the 1900s and the 1950s. And all of the most important discoveries and theories were made during this time. And most of the important disputes and battles were also taken place in this period of time. So if someone asks you what is the most important dispute in physics, you have to say Niels Bohr versus Albert Einstein, because this is the dispute that happened between quantum mechanics and general relativity. One of the most important theories in physics is quantum mechanics, and another theory battling it is general relativity. And if someone asks you what is another important intellectual debate between two scientists, it's certainly Newton and Leibniz. So why did this dispute even happen? Well, when Newton created calculus, some people claimed in Europe that Leibniz had invented it before Newton. Why? Well, people are greedy sometimes, and there were certain proofs. So who won this battle? Well, in England, people continue to use Newton's notation of calculus, while in the rest of Europe, they use Leibniz notation. But after some time, all of the world started using Leibniz notation, because it was far easier and efficient to use Leibniz notation. So scientific disputes happen. You might see that as a bad thing, and you might also think that science never stays strong. But the important distinction is that science always has disputes to prove that science can be validified. That's why these important disputes ever happened or keeps happening in science. The non-locality and quantum mechanics and general relativity problem is still ongoing in science. It's one of the most important problems that we have yet to solve in science. That's why we keep fighting about things in science, because when you fight about something, you put your utmost intellectual ability onto that problem. So that's my speech, if you can call that. But any question?
Thank you, Hebel. Are there any questions from the audience to Hebel?
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Sure.
So Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity, right? Like E is equal to mc square.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it states that energy and matter can be interchanged, and it's basically the same. So I heard like you made some kind of change in that equation. Could you state what you made it?
I had certainly not made any important change in that equation, but this is an irrelevant paper, but I made certain variations of that equation to prove something that has not been revealed to the world yet. It's called superbosonic string theory. The name can be misleading, but I have not completed that version yet. Certainly, the E equals mc squared equation is important, but another important part of special relativity is length contraction and time dilation. So I have made variations of all these topics, but they are not released yet.
ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ സ്കൂളിലെ കുട്ടികൾക്കൊക്കെ ഹാബേൽ സ്കൂളിൽ പോയിട്ടില്ല എന്ന് എനിക്കറിയാം. കാരണം ഓക്കെ ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ടീസ് റൈറ്റ്, പക്ഷേ ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ സ്കൂൾ ലൈഫ് എൻജോയ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കാരാണ്. സോ ഓബ്വിയസ്ലി യു ആർ മിസ്സിങ് ഔട്ട്, ഡോണ്ട് യു തിങ്ക്? ഇവിടെ കുറേ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ കേൾക്കാൻ താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ പകരം മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
എനിക്ക് ഈ ഫിസിക്സ് ആയിട്ട് മിസ് ഔട്ട് ആകുന്ന പോലെ തോന്നുന്നുണ്ടോ?
ഉണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ പറയുന്നത് കേട്ടപ്പോൾ തോന്നുന്നുണ്ട്.
അതുപോലെ തന്നെയാണ് എനിക്ക് സ്കൂളിൽ പോകാത്തോ. എനിക്ക് സ്കൂളിൽ പോകാൻ ഇഷ്ടമില്ലാത്തതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ സോഷ്യൽ ഇൻട്രാക്ഷനിലധികം അടിപൊളിയല്ല. അപ്പോൾ വേറെ ആരോടൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് ആങ്ഷ്യസ് ആവും. അപ്പോൾ ഞാനത് ചെയ്യാണ്ടിരിക്കാനാണ് മാക്സിമം ട്രൈ ചെയ്യാറ്. എനിക്ക് വീട്ടിലിരിക്കുന്നതാണ് ഇഷ്ടം. ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ സ്കൂളിൽ പോയില്ലെങ്കിലും ഹൈലൻഡ് മാളിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബീച്ചിലോ ഒന്നും പോയി കറങ്ങാറില്ല. ഞാൻ വീട്ടിൽ തന്നെ ഇരിക്കാറാണ്.
ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.
Thank you, Hebel Anwar.